It was a dreary night, rain pouring down in a relentless cascade as I maneuvered the bus through the dimly lit streets on my usual route. Most of the weary passengers had already disembarked, seeking refuge from the storm. But amidst the silence, there sat one passenger who seemed out of place. A figure cloaked in an eerie aura that sent shivers down my spine. As we approached the final stop, a feeling of unease settled over me. The unsettling passenger sat hunched in the back, his presence casting an ominous shadow over the otherwise deserted vehicle. A sense of foreboding washed over me, but curiosity got the better of my rationality. I had to know more. "Hey buddy, is everything all right?" I called out, my voice laced with concern. The words hung in the air, but the response I received was nothing but silence. His gaze remained fixed ahead, unyielding and unresponsive. It was as if he existed in a world of his own, detached from the reality around him. With each passing moment, the atmosphere grew more stifling. A palpable tension wrapped itself around the bus, constricting like a boa constrictor. The other passengers, their faces etched with unease, glanced nervously at the enigmatic figure, their eyes pleading for answers that would never come. As we approached the final stop, a decision crystallized in my mind. I needed to confront this mystery passenger. Pulling the bus over to a dimly lit corner, I cautiously made my way toward the back. With each step, the weight of the unknown pressed upon me, a heavy burden that threatened to consume my thoughts. Heart pounding, I stood beside him, mere inches away. The bus's flickering interior lights cast an otherworldly glow on his face, revealing a haunting visage etched with deep lines of sorrow and despair. His eyes, oh those eyes, they held a darkness that no words could ever capture. They seemed to gaze into the depths of my soul, an abyss of unspoken horrors. Summoning all the courage I could muster, I spoke again, my voice quivering. "Is there anything I can do for you? Are you all right?" But the only response I received was a chilling silence, as if the air itself had frozen in anticipation. It was then that a wave of pure terror washed over me, and my instincts took control. In a reflexive motion driven by primal fear, I found myself pushing him off the bus. His body hit the pavement with a thud, and a gasp escaped my lips. Panic seized me, and I reached for my phone, trembling hands dialing the emergency number as I tried to explain the inexplicable. Within minutes, the sound of sirens filled the night air as the police arrived at the scene. Trembling, I relayed the terrifying encounter to them, my voice laden with a mix of fear and disbelief. Together, we ventured to the spot where I had forcibly expelled the haunting passenger from the bus, only to be met with an unsettling truth. There was no sign of him, as if he had dissolved into the murky night. To this day, the memory of that encounter lingers, etched deep within my psyche. The enigmatic passenger with his chilling presence and those abyssal eyes. His presence left an indelible mark on my soul. I often find myself haunted by questions. Who was he? What was his purpose? And most importantly, what dark force did he carry within him? Let me take you back to that fateful night. As I walked into the empty restaurant, a feeling of unease settled over me like a thick fog. The dim, flickering lights seemed to cast eerie shadows on the worn-out furniture, making it look like something out of a horror movie. But hey, a job's a job, right? So, I shrugged off the uneasy vibes and went about my duties. Now let me tell you about the sounds. Strange and unsettling they were. It started with faint whispers, like ethereal voices carried on the wind. At first, I dismissed them as my imagination, but as the nights wore on, they grew louder and more distinct. It was as if the very walls of that place held secrets, and they were whispering them into my ears. One particular night, while I was diligently scrubbing the floors in the back, I happened to glance up and caught a glimpse of movement outside the front door. My heart skipped a beat and a chill crept down my spine. There, bathed in the pale glow of the moon, stood a figure, a tall, looming silhouette. My breath caught in my throat as I strained my eyes, desperately trying to make out its features. The figure seemed to stare directly into my soul, its presence heavy with an unexplainable malevolence. Fear wrapped its icy fingers around me, and I hurriedly retreated to the relative safety of the main counter. But even from there, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. of unseen eyes boring holes into my very being. Terrified, I contemplated calling the police, but a part of me questioned if I was overreacting. Maybe it was just a figment of my imagination, a trick played by my tired mind. But deep down, I knew this was no mere hallucination. The figure lingered for what felt like an eternity, an ominous presence that sent shivers down my spine. In a moment of panic, I mustered the courage to lock all the doors, hoping to keep whatever malevolent force it represented out. But fate had other plans, cruel and relentless. Just as I thought I had secured the premises, a deafening crash shattered the silence, reverberating through the desolate building. My heart pounded in my chest as I realized the figure had smashed one of the windows, its intent clear: to infiltrate the fast food joint and unleash its horrors upon me. The blaring alarm pierced the night, its shrill cry mingling with the terror that gripped my soul. With trembling hands, I fumbled for my phone and dialed the emergency number. The dispatcher's voice on the other end offered little solace, but I clung to the hope that help was on the way. As I awaited the arrival of the police, the seconds stretched into an agonizing eternity. Every creak of the floorboards, every gust of wind outside seemed to herald the figure's approach. Finally, the sound of sirens shattered the silence and the flashing lights pierced the darkness. Relief washed over me, mingled with lingering fear. The police arrived, their presence a beacon of safety in a world gone awry. They conducted a thorough search, combing through every nook and cranny, desperate to find the intruder who had invoked such terror within me. But, my friends, here's the chilling part. They found nothing. No trace of the figure, no evidence of a break-in. It was as if the night had swallowed up all signs of the terror I had experienced. I was left with nothing but my own shaking nerves and a mind haunted by the inexplicable. That night left an indelible mark on my soul, forever etching fear and uncertainty into the very core of my being. The mystery of who or what that figure was and what its intentions were remains shrouded in darkness. To this day, the memory of that encounter sends a chill down my spine whenever I pass by that abandoned fast food joint. It was a regular night like any other. The moon hung high in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the silent town. As I stepped into the library, the familiar smell of old books and dusty shelves enveloped me. It was my sanctuary, my solace. Little did I know this night would be unlike any other. At first, everything seemed normal. The library was quiet, as you'd expect during the late hours. But as the night wore on, a sense of unease began to settle over me like a heavy fog. It started with subtle sounds, a soft whisper here, a creaking floorboard there. Innocent enough, right? Well, hold on to your hats, because things are about to get downright bone-chilling. As the minutes turned into hours, the sounds grew louder, more distinct. The whispers seemed to echo through the empty aisles as if the books themselves were speaking secrets to one another. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end and a chill crept up my spine. But hey, I wasn't one to scare easily, so I brushed it off as my imagination playing tricks on me. That is, until I saw it, the dark shadow. It appeared in the corner of my eye, fleeting and elusive. Every time I turned my head to get a better look, it vanished into thin air. My heart raced, and a cold sweat dripped down my forehead. There was no denying it. Something unnatural was at play. Fear gripped me, tightening its hold with each passing moment. Every sound, every whisper felt like a taunt from the unknown. I tried to reason with myself, to convince myself it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But deep down, I knew this was more than just an overactive imagination. In a moment of sheer terror, I knew I had to do something. My trembling hand reached for the phone and I dialed those 3 familiar digits, 911. My voice quivered as I explained the inexplicable events unfolding at the library. They assured me help was on the way. But little did I know that even the police would be left dumbfounded. When the police arrived, they combed through every inch of the library, searching for any signs of the supernatural or an intruder. But their efforts were in vain. They found nothing. No trace of the dark shadow. No explanation for the strange sounds that had tormented me. It was as if the library itself had swallowed up the secrets, leaving me alone in my haunted reality. To this day, I can't explain what I experienced during those long, eerie nights at the library. The lingering whispers, the fleeting shadow, they remain etched in my memory, a constant reminder of the thin veil between our world and the unknown. So, my friends, be wary of the supernatural forces that may lurk in the most ordinary of places. Trust your instincts, for they may guide you through the darkest of nights, and remember, sometimes the most bone-chilling encounters are the ones that defy explanation.